Okay, so here we are at the MDL Ocean Village, and I've got some special guests again, second time around. We're using microphones this time because we actually do have an audience. Anyway, and Jussi and Hilla. Good to see you here. Hello, Aida.
Hello, Don.
Oh, we've got microphones now. It's going to get tricky. So, okay, so this is another section of Web TV, and we've got someone every day, one of the entrants every day, and some days there will be two on the weekend when things hot up a bit. We're quite excited to have Jussi here with his beautiful boat, which I call Fazza Finland because that's what it did in the Whitbread. But you can tell us the real name now. Your boat.
Thanks, Don. Yeah, the name of the boat is Spirit of Helsinki.
Yeah.
And yeah, we enjoy the heritage of Fazza Finland also.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and Finnish entry, both Finnish. Hilla, you're from Finland. I'm from Australia. Aida's from Romania and France. And so we're just going to have a relaxed chat now and talk about all sorts of things associated with OGR. So
I do the first question, as you remember.
Absolutely. I was just going to hand you the mic.
We try to get organized. So welcome. You can have a seat. Ask your question also if you feel like. Let's speak about your boat because it's what Don asked first. Spirit of Helsinki, SWAN 651, who was built for the Whitbread 86, I think.
Yeah, 85.
Exactly.
Yes.
It finished third as Fazza of Finland at that moment. Today the name is Spirit of Helsinki, with only Finnish crew, I think, on board. So we understand why that name, but why did you choose Spirit of Helsinki for your boat?
Actually, the name came from our oldest sailor, one of our boat owners, Matti Anttila, who will sail the whole competition also. We should, I think Matti will tell the long story on a weekend when he will come, but there is, of course, great history behind the name of Spirit of something in race sailing. So that was the one part, and then there is this history of Spirit of Helsinki from 70s, which is we call it sisu. It's a spirit, heavy spirit of strength, passion, competition, and of course making a good result in the competition.
Yeah. Jussi, do you want to win? Do you want to win the OGR?
Of course. We don't want to win, we will win.
Okay. So Finland's got a huge history for sailing in general, but also around the world. In the early Whitbreads, Finland was really strongly represented. We've got Tapio on with Secure and Galliano and so on. You're just a generic. How many crew? We'll get through the statistics. How many crew you're sailing with?
We are at the moment 21, and we sail with 12.
Yes.
At the time, so we are 7 who will do the whole race, and then all the others will do 1 or 2 legs.
So all Finnish crew.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you find your crew?
Actually, when you posted that there will be this funky race, I was calling my friend immediately, and I said that, hey, have you heard about this one? And should we do it? And he was like, of course, hell, this is amazing race, and then he called his friend and tell the same story. So eventually we ended up to just friend called the friend, and we really didn't that much apply or marketed our campaign.
Yeah,
and we have financed the whole campaign with crew payments. So. Still, it was so interested that first of all we got the best sailors from our club and from Helsinki, but second of all they were happy to do the payment.
So they're all club sailors.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have 2 professionals.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us are our club sailors.
Yeah, that's cool. I remember I met up with Harry Hakimo in the BOC in '86, I think it was, and that was my first introduction to French sailing. And he was sailing a Swan, and you can't not mention swans because they're all out of Finland and half the fleet swans, you know.
Yeah.
So you're proudly bearing the SWAN 651 logo there. That you're happy with the boat, and you've done a complete rebuild.
Yeah, of course. First of all, for a Finn,
Yeah.
It's a great honor to sail now the Swan. Of course, they are one of the best sailing boats in the whole world, and as we know, they are really capable for ocean sailing. And we actually planned first to sail with 65, but then we discovered a little bit more, and we noticed that the 651 it's originally designed for the whip red. First of all.
Yeah.
And of course the performance of 651 is something else than 65. So we are really waiting for the Southern Ocean and long surf with the great waves.
Yeah.
For our followers who are like me, not really sailors, why the 651 is better in your eyes than the SWAN 65, for example?
It's a little bit different designing philosophy. The 65 is Sparkman and Stevens. It's more traditional. It's the displacement is maybe a little bit bigger. The hull shape is more traditional. It really don't surf that easy. Maybe when you get more speed, it actually just get deeper and deeper as the 57.
Yeah. Well, not quite. We're in between. The 65. They designed the 651. The 65 at the very beginning. Not for the round the world race, but it was a beautiful boat came up, and then the guys at Sayula, Ramon, said, "Oh, we'll do that boat," and it did really well. And then the 57 turned up with, okay, now SWAN will do. S&S would do a design just for round the world race, so they did that, and that was cool. So the 57's an advancement on the concepts, and then later, I think it was it the next one?
Yes.
The 651 turned up hugely more powerful.
And it's the German Freres design. So it's a different design office and a lot of different design philosophy. So it has more surface on aft than it really serves. And our boat was built for the 85-86 race, so it's a little bit more rigid the hull. They have reinforced it more than the normal one. We have the grass box already on the bow. It's with the Speedway rudder, which was done for the 85 race. So it's greatly optimized for racing. So
Watch his eyes when he speaks about his, but he wants to win.
I tell you what, when you see the boat, you stand on it's just like, holy dooly, because it's a progression. 73 for the first one in the 65. The 57 was done in 78. And then you were a couple of editions after that, 85. And the design cutoff for the race is 88. So you're in the hottest production boat for sure, hands down. It's really slick. So, and we're all, everyone's got an IRC certificate, so there's handicap.
Yeah.
So the poor guys in Godspeed at the back with a 51, they could still win.
Of course. That's a good part for the IRC racing.
Yeah. So Hilla, we sailed with you for a weekend on board the Galliana with Tapio.
That's true, and I still have your cap.
Ah, there you go.
It has served a lot after that.
Anyway, so, and Tapio's experience amazing, all young sailors and stuff. And so I forget how you progressed to actually now be in the OGR, because at the time, anyway, tell us your story about how did you end up with Helsinki, Spirit of Helsinki.
How did I end up there? Good question. Yeah, I have been looking for a boat to crew for a long time. We met then 2 or 3 years ago. But this summer I found my match. It's perfect now. I'm the navigator on board Spirit of Helsinki. Yeah. I've been training the circumnavigation and astronavigation stuff a lot. And I'm here, and I'm super happy about the great boat and the super crew.
I was wondering from the beginning, Hilla, with people like you, you are not even 30 years old. You are born with the technology. Even at school, you don't write on papers like Don and me. You have computers. Your generation, it's so much connected with the technology. It's like normal life for you. How someone so young was interested in doing this race without nothing? No computer, no GPS, no iPhones, no WhatsApp, no Instagram.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to get rid of all that stuff. It's my life is a lot of being on in front of the screen. In the work I'm in front of the screen. Home I'm just going through Instagram and doesn't make any sense. But I think this is now real life. This is the thing.
Yeah. So from your perspective, try and explain to me some of the crew. I'm sure they won't be upset if you don't like them, but it's good to get your perspective rather than Jussi's. You'll say, oh yeah, they're hot, he's really strong, they're on the 40. What do you reckon? So tell us about some of the crew on the boat.
Well, this far I really like them. There have been some opinions at times, but that's just life.
Yeah.
It's nice crew still.
Yeah. So what's the mix? There's some other women on board? Or?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah. Can you tell us?
For my first 2 legs at least, there's Vera, our doctor.
Yeah.
I really love her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And then for leg 4, I think we have one other female crew member, and she's also awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a great team.
And Jussi, how are you managing the onboard logistics of engineer, electrician, sales, sailing master, deck, safety, whatever? How are you managing the crew and the watch system as well?
Yeah, we first of all we have built the boat now for the past 2 years. You can ask that later from my wife.
Yeah,
how she's feeling. So of course we have built the boat by our own hands. So we have the main guy, Ari, who's the main technical.
Yeah.
But all the crew has been part of the building, so we really know the boat well. Then the second professional, Pasi, he's running the daily business. So he's a professional sailing coach. He's a professional commercial skipper. And he has a great background for winning races. So he has planned our daily business. So he's running more or less the sail trimming, what's happening on the deck. Yeah. And for the watch system, we do the classic 3 watch at the 3 hour timings, normal watch captains.
3 hours.
Yeah.
3 on 6
Yeah. We think that that's the maximum time when you can really push.
Yeah.
So if you want to go cruising, you can do longer. But if you want to win the race, I think it's the maximum time. And for example, for helm, we do only 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah. That
we really can push.
Yeah.
And we have 3 categories. So when the wind gets heavier, we get the second category. So half of the houseman drops off, and then we have the highest category where we only have some helmsmen. So
yeah. So with 3 watch system, you got 12. So it's 4 in each watch.
Yes.
So when you're jibing, you've got to call up the extra watch.
Yeah. We have the second watch all the time ready, and then the third one is on rest.
Yeah.
And of course, when we do heavy wind maneuvers, we call all hands on deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what about food? What's your style on food? Wet food, freeze dried food, and have you got a desalinator and so on?
I think the average age for our crew is 45 to 50 years. So I think we enjoy good food.
Yeah.
So we actually have pretty big freezer.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fridge capacity.
Yeah.
And we have GN, which is like a kitchen standard metering system, oven. So we have freezed everything that we just put them in the oven, and we have a rice cooker or steamer. We have water boiling systems. So we really wait, and we have food capacity until 40 days from the fridge and freezer.
Wow. And
above that, we go for the tins, and then after that, when we haven't seen stars for some months, and we are doing the round in Southern Atlantic, we will go for the dry.
Okay. Next question: what about the wine locker? Are you a dry ship, or you've got?
We are a dry ship, yes, but actually we emptied the boat last week.
You found all the private stash.
There was this electrical parts, and it was full of Finnish yellow, which we called the Finnish cognac.
Yeah,
1 star, very good.
Okay.
And there was quite many stash.
Yeah. Okay.
But of course we will sail dry, but of course, for
celebrations.
Yeah, celebrations
Every day. Yeah.
Actually, in our crew agreement, which is around 20 pages, there is that we do not consume alcohol.
Yeah.
But I managed to add point if we do not agree else. So
that's cool. All right. So you're obviously happy with the boat, and it is a hot boat. You know, what I mean, it's all there. But what's your biggest fear? You know, in fact, I should ask Hilla that first. So what's your biggest fear about participating in this grand adventure around the world? Well, you can say multiple, but we will go for the biggest at the beginning.
That's a hard one. The biggest fear. I don't know. Right now, it's like getting to the start line has so big part of my head that I don't have time to fear anything.
Yeah. Okay. So what about what's the most exciting bit? What are we most looking forward to after the start? So the start of your sailing. What's the thing you really get off on?
I'm just waiting for the everyday life because that's what I love.
Yeah.
Living on a boat and feeling the waves and the wind, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Where's your best spot on the boat when you're underway? Your favourite spot on the boat?
I haven't found one on this one.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And Jussi, you know.
Of course, the safety is the biggest issue what I want to ensure. I'm 100% positive that everything what is concerning about sailing, the daily life, we know how to do it. There is some limitations of weather. There is we are in really far southern ocean positions. So if there is any bigger hazard or threat for the safety, that's the maybe biggest thing what I have tried to think how we will do and how we will act in those situations.
Yeah.
But first of all, our idea was that we do not go without the doctor. We have a doctor in all the legs.
Yeah.
We have 2 guys with the highest rank of first aid on commercial shipping. We have prepared everybody prepared with certain level of EA. So I think we have done everything what we can in a sense. I have some bad experiences from some ocean races where there has been traumatic or physical medical issues, and of course those are not what we wish to have, but we need to be ready to handle them. So the safetyness and the safety of the crew in all senses is something what we have really tried to prepare, and if we need to dress that in as a fear, I think that would be one.
So what's the most exciting bit for you? You know, I mean, you're the boss, you're the kingpin, you've pulled it all together, and I'll put it to you in 2 parts. What's the most exciting thing overall, including everything on land and this and the other, and then on the water?
When you do a project like this, I have done this a little bit more than 3 years now. I have invested all my money, all my time, and I think this is the lowest point of the enjoyment for the whole campaign.
Yeah.
If you want to hear the answer today, it will be maybe different than what I would give in after 2 weeks when we really get onto the sea and we really get into what we are doing and things. So of course I'm waiting to get into the sea to do the real thing, sail fast and so on. But at the moment it's pretty heavy to do these projects and
I can explain a bit of that. The what would you say? The amount of paperwork involved with compliance for the OGR is massive. The notice of race is like 55 pages or something, and we've got to make sure that every member of the crew is fully certified with their experience, with their medical training, with their survival training. We've got all their data and so on. There's just massive amounts of stuff because it's an 8-month journey, so it's quite substantial. And for the owners, and whoever's driving the campaign, it's a huge commitment. It's beyond belief in some ways, but you're all doing very well to get there. And now's ticking the boxes. So there's a bit of pressure on everyone. from the entrance to the organizer. So it's all good.
And always, I have done these campaigns before, and it's the same curve.
Yeah.
But after you get back home and you can hug your children and wife, and then when you think it after 1 year or 2 years, that's the thing. What I think when you can respect most that you really did it and you went there. It's sometimes when you are doing the whole show, it's not that easy to enjoy it that well, but that's, I think I have changed from the previous project what I have done. I really, when the start is on September 10th, I will start to enjoy.
You mentioned your family. This was the question I wanted to ask to you. This project, I think you started to look for about in 2019 already, so it's 4 years already. I don't know if you have another life, like another job. We know now you have a family. How you can manage these two lives, this dream and this ambition to finish and to win the OGR and the family at land and your job. I mean, how you get all the money to put into your boat, how do you manage all that?
If you make this question to my family, I think the answer is different what I will give today. But yeah, I was on a break for the job on 2019. I had sold my previous company and I had a good situation. We were sailing and at the Mediterranean, and then there was this not coming. And after that, we have got 3 childs. We have opened a new business. We have
3 kids,
2 hotels now, and then we have done this project.
So your wife will manage the 3 young children and the hotels when you are having fun at sea to make it sure.
Oh yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's that's true passion, but there's a lot of that. I think one thing that's a standout on all of the entrants that we have is the commitment. We had like 26 at one stage. COVID came along, the entry list got harder and harder to get the start line. And the ones that are here now, they've all got very powerful stories. So there's a lot at stake, to put it that way.
Yeah. And I think never you will have the situation when you have pocket full money, happy wife, job is saying go sailing,
and plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah.
You never have enough time.
So I thought that I'm turning 44, so it doesn't make it easier to push this 5 or 10 years later. I think I'm in the best physical shape, and my knowledge level is the best to do this now. So so in a sense, it's if you always wait that there will be a good time to do something, I think you will die before you're doing so.
Why did you choose this race, not another one? Why the OGR?
A good question. I think there was many very interesting features. Of course, I enjoy that it's a classic traditional race. I enjoy the astronautical part. We have a great history all the way from the 1900 old ships that sailed. There's quite many Finnish skippers who won the race, even it wasn't a race, but it was. And then we didn't have that much ocean racing in Finland for the past 30-40 years, and of course there wasn't any
no, there was nothing.
Races,
this is the first time in 30 years that normal club sailors can get together and race around the Southern Ocean, around the world, through the Great Capes and so on. So it's never been possible for 30 years.
Yeah, I have done a little bit Volvo 70 racing, so I think it's a little bit different sport. It's the boat is, you sail it differently, it moves differently, the risks are totally different. Of course, the budgets, they go sky high. So,
but the good news is you're in a beautiful boat that will be an even more beautiful boat at the finish of the race. It's like a capital investment, but you get to have a real boat still. It's not like, sort of throwaway race boats.
Yeah. And I enjoy the way how the classic boat sails. I really don't like to put my belt here to
Have dinner.
to secure my organs because the boat is like going.
Yeah.
These are sailing boats. These really
I mean, we love watching the Americas race around the world,
Yeah.
the One Day Globe, and we the ocean race is fantastic, all that sort of thing. But this is just different. There's something in this that's not been available for sailors for a long time, and we've already got 9 teams getting ready for 2027. So I feel strong about that side. But anyway,
and classic is classic. So
Yeah, so this is a good conclusion, isn't it?
yeah.
I don't know.
The conclusion of what this discussion.
Yeah or not? No.
No, I don't know. Is there your favourite question to others is Hilla? Is what's the question that you would have wished I asked you, but I didn't ask you? That's usually Aida's line. Did I steal your line?
No, you can steal it. I'll find another one for tomorrow.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay. Anything you want to say?
So I get to ask that question from you, or I have to.
Oh
answer
well,
it
you can
myself?
turn it around. I don't mind. Yeah, then we can start a conversation.
Getting interesting.
Okay.
Having all the power.
Yeah.
No. I'm just wondering, like, where did you get the inspiration for this race?
Oh, it is a turnaround. Okay. Well, I wanted to do it. I 3 times I was involved with the Whitbread campaign. The first
You
was
wanted to do it yourself, or you wanted to?
Yeah, absolutely. My first attempt was with a maxi and so on, and that failed. We ran it in 1988 around Australia Yacht Race, and the late Sir Peter Blake won that race in Steinlager 1. We became quite good friends during that long involvement, and he taught me a lot of things, and I was planning to do the BOC, and in the end I thought I'll try to get a Whitbread campaign up. Peter was helping me, and it didn't work. Next time was I did the BOC challenge, solo around the world, and I was asked to skipper an Australian entry in the race with Hugh Trahan as my navigator and John Bertram as our team coach, and we agreed to do it. Hugh and I said, "Yeah, we'll do it as long as you make budget," because it was cost a lot of money, and they only raised 60% of the budget before we both said no more time. So that didn't work. The last time I tried to do it, living in a box in Antarctica, chained to rocks with my wife. Complete isolation. We had a sat phone, and I made an offer to buy one of the Volvo 60, the Whitbread 60s, the Swarbrick design from the Yamaha team. Offered them full tote, asking money, and in the end, we're going to put a youth campaign together. And of course, I got gazumped on that and lost the vote, so that was hinged on that. So when we came up with the idea of the Golden Globe race, okay, I said if that's Jappy, I found your boat. And he said, "What? Is this 155? I said, "Oh, that's my favourite boat in the world." And so as soon as he crossed the finish line, the next day he was on the phone organising. He was the first one that knew anything. Anyway, so that's how it happened.
I have a last question for you, because you want to keep going. Well, for all 3 of you, actually, when did you start sailing?
Well, I started sailing in the university. There was the student club for sailing, and yeah.
So you are not coming from a sailing family?
No, I'm coming from the middle of the forest, so I saw a lake.
Baltic fur.
Yeah.
Baltic. Fine.
And you, Jussi?
I sailed with the dinghies, not that heavily racing. At the time where we were living, there wasn't that hot sailing club, but I had a Optimist and some another dinghies. Then our family ended up to buy a motorboat, so we drove from Helsinki by the sea to the lakeside, like all our childhood. And I think I was 10 years old when I drove it all the way. So the navigational part has been in longer. Then when we started the university, we got the great idea, let's buy a sailing boat. So we ended up to buy sailing boat from Fecamp, and Then I
And
just
that's it.
started to sail. So actually, we sailed 3 weeks back. I lost 7 kilos, and I saw 1.5 years bad dreams from and I'm still sailing.
So now you will give her 1.5 years of bad dream. And John, when did you get the virus? The
Oh,
sailing virus. How?
Oh, it's always dinghies off the beach, you know. But instead of sailing off the beach, I'd put an esky of food in there in a tent, and I'd go camping up the river for a week, you know. But then it was surfing, and then I saw a movie of some 3 guys build a boat, go sailing, surfing through the Pacific. Anyway, that's all part of the course. So yeah, just before we've got an audience.
Oh yeah,
Does anyone like to ask a question of Jussi and Hilla? Any questions at all? Just shout it out if you have.
I'm interested what you had to do to the boat in the last few years.
So the question was interested in what Jussi had to do to the boat, how he got the boat together.
We bought the boat 21. So for the first winter, we basically took the side decks, everything, the attachment out from the deck. We did the NDT for the whole hull and deck and rig, and the results were very good. So we really not needed to repair the hull that much. The boat was built for the 2015 Transpac, which it won also. So the refit status was pretty good. And actually, the bottom of the boat, it's the best what I have seen. It's super. It's super. And so the first winter we did the hull, the deck, and then we sailed last summer practicing, and now this winter we basically took the whole technique out. The only thing what we saved was the old Birkin's main engine, because we love it. It's a non-electric super tool. So basically we replaced all the electronics. We did the boat very simple. And yeah, of course, for the rigging, it's from 2014. We did the standing rigging, everything else but the actual mast and boom. New running rigging. So yeah, the plan was some number, but it ended up 3 times.
Always does.
Okay, any more questions? No? Okay, all right. I think that's it. Anything you'd like to say, Aida? How did you get into sailing?
I will answer tomorrow because the time of our second TV is already gone.
Uh-oh.
But what I would like to say is we are here every morning until until the start of the race. Every morning with a web TV at 10:30, and sometimes 2 web TV during the weekend. The second one at 11:30. So we would be very, very happy to have you here. And I don't say that just because I'm polite to the camera. It's a happy time for the skippers and for us. And it's interesting to have your questions because you might be sailors or you might be like me, normal person. And no, even normal person, not sailor.
Normal. Ah.
I started to become normal since I am with the McIntyre adventure. No, but the thing is, sometimes we don't know much about the sailing, but sometimes we just want to know why they do that, how we can do that, this kind of questions. So maybe see you tomorrow here at 10:30.
Hey, good luck, eh? Yeah, good luck.
Oh.
Good luck. Okay.